Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? All right, so I'm going to share some important information with you today. The topic of today's session is actually a 7 steps pre-qualification system for wholesaling real estate. If you belong to another aspect of real estate or any other business, you can feel free to steal some of this. It's absolutely applicable to your business as well. You may just have to change a few things here and there, okay? But let's have some fun because the information I'm about to share with you uh, will make all the difference. Let's see here. Report not spam. Let's see what this is. All right. So let's have some fun with this 7 steps pre-qualification system. Just in case you're brand new here, my name is Ola. And I'm the author of Smart Real Estate Wholesaling. You can download it absolutely for free at smartrealestatewholesaling.com. It's available there for you. It's also available in Kindle, audiobook, as well as paperback, just like this one. All right. Uh, the information I'm about to share with you is the beginning of everything. If you're going to have any kind of success with wholesaling real estate, this is where it starts from. You have to know this stuff in order to be able to teach it to your team members, in order to be able to make it work for you as well too. So uh, please pay attention. Also, if I say anything in the middle of this session that makes sense to you, please make sure you give me at least one thumbs up before you leave. It will help me spread the word better, and it will tell YouTube, the algorithms, that you're loving what we're doing. All right. So that would be highly, highly appreciated. All right. So the 7 steps system for pre-qualifying your prospects is very, very important that I share this with you. All right. This is something that I've created after 13 years in the business. There's all types of scripts out there, there's all types of information out there. I'm sure you've seen many of them. What do you say to people to make them say yes to getting into contract with you? Right? There's not a one single answer for that. The one thing I want to share with you is that ahead of time is that just understand that you can never say the wrong thing to the right person, and you cannot say the right thing to the wrong person. What do I mean by that? If it's the wrong person, you could say everything right, but they're still not going to be interested in doing business with you. It's not your fault. The timing is not right. Some things has not aligned together, and basically you need to detect that as soon as possible, as humanly possible, and move on as fast as humanly possible. Because the longer you spend with the wrong people, the farther away you are from the right people. Because again, you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. If it's the right person, even if you're saying all the wrong things in the world, they will attempt to help you because they need the offer that you have to bring to their lives, to their business, to their home, to the ownership of the real estate that they own. They 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 will see the value, and they will help you get through whatever you're trying to say. That's just the way it works. Now, with that being said, it does help to say the right thing. Okay, it does help to know what the to know the information you need ahead of time, and to learn how to ask those information. And that's what I've broken down into 7 steps pre-qualification system. Essentially, you're doing them a favor. It's not the other way around. And if you don't come with that kind of confidence to the table, they're going to detect it. They're not going to feel confident or feel comfortable enough to work with you. So that's why I said pay attention to what I'm saying. So, as a foundation, remember that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. If it's the right person, they will attempt to help you, but it does help to know the right things to say. Okay, so if you have the right things to say and you're saying it to the right person, that's basically a match made in heaven, and you want to make sure that you're prepared for that. That's what this session is about. All right. So with that being said, let's dive. So I gave you the foundation. And then another reason why why you should pay attention to this lesson is Time is everything. Okay, time is a bigger asset than money itself. Okay, once you lose time, you can't gain it back. So the time you're spending with the prospects, you want to make sure that you're optimizing that resource, which is time, that you're optimizing it to the best of your knowledge, and you're optimizing it so that you can return the best possible results with each second that go passes in a day. Okay, and I try to practice that in everything I do. Why am I recording this video? Because this video brings attract opportunity. It helps you, but in return to that, after 600 videos, I can tell you basically that it attracts opportunity to me, real estate opportunity, real life opportunity, and just building my brand all together while I'm exchanging that with value for you. All right. So that's why it's worth it for me to spend this next few minutes to record this video, because this video will live on this platform for as long as YouTube wants it to be on there. Okay. And for that long, it to continue to serve me, my business, my brand. So time is everything. The point I'm making here is that the time you spend with your prospects is very, very important. The last concept I want to share with you before I share the actual 7 step with you is that um I just had a brain freeze. 1 second. Yes, is the concept of 100 prospects in 1 minute versus 100 minutes with the same prospect. Okay, you need to understand that this is a numbers game at the end of the day. The more people you go through, the better. Okay, on the front, when you're dealing with cold prospect, the more people, the better. Once somebody is warmed up to you, meaning they start responding, then you dig a little deeper. There's no such thing as digging deeper to people that have not responded to your marketing message already. As a matter of fact, it's a waste of resource. Okay. Now, you may know 1 or 2 things to help you select the right list to be calling, because there's a higher chance that a certain type of list is more motivated than the others, right? That's still digging deeper. That's because they've responded, pre-responded by their behavior. For example, pre-foreclosure, they haven't paid on their bills. They've pre-responded by their behavior that they're probably more motivated to get rid of the property. Vacant property, they have pre-responded by not doing something right. For some reason, the property is vacant, right? So there's some, again, it's still a form of response from the a form of response or behavior on the list from the prospect standpoint that makes you know that this person is much more motivated. You should not presume motivation. Don't prejudge anyone. Okay, that's why I'm going to give you a system. That's the whole point of a system, so you can use the same system over and over and over again. All right, so try to spend, think about the comparison between 100 minutes with one prospect, basically wasting your time, or going through 100 prospects, cold prospects in 1 minute. Okay. Then among that 100 prospects, if some people start responding, have a system in place to respond to them effectively and with efficiency as well too. All right. So, take the time to listen to what I've just said, but hopefully it makes sense to you. This is about wholesaling real estate, which is basically the heart and science of finding deeply discounted properties and turning them for profit. Instant profit based on present market value, no speculation, no Amazon is moving in town, none of that craziness. Just based on numbers within the last 6 months, within 1 mile radius of a subject property. All right. So 7 steps pre-qualifiers. Okay. Call it 7 steps pre-qualification system. All right. The first thing first is number one, I call it greetings. All right. Like some greetings, right? Basically, when you call somebody and they pick up the phone or they call you, right? Either way, you just want to make sure you identify the person you're talking to with the greetings. Okay. So the way that goes, sorry for the movement shaking around here. I'm not feeling too well, by the way, but I just still wanted to show up. All right. The way that goes is this is so I'm going to give you a little script in between each one of the 7 steps. Okay. And just keep in mind that between the 7 steps, they may say something to you that will spark off another conversation. Feel free to have these conversations, because the longer, a little bit of lengthy conversation can to some level determine the quality of the conversation, and it can help you build rapport with the seller. If they like you, they'll do business with you. If they don't like you, they won't do business with you. So you want to make sure that you entertain them, and if they say something to you, become interesting in them. Okay, if you want people to be interested in you, become interested in their affairs as well. That's the way it works. Okay, so greetings, hello, is John available? Okay, what's the point of this question? Right, what's the point of this particular step in the system? The point is to identify the person while you're greeting them at the same time. Hello, is John available? Now, if they're calling you, if it's some kind of reactive direct response type of marketing, then you'll basically say, hello, may I help you? And they'll say, yeah, this is John, I'm calling from. So your first two steps is kind of like, I'm calling about the property at, your first two steps is kind of taken care of. Well, this is John. Yeah, do you buy houses? Like some of the steps is taken care of just by having that. But I'm talking specifically to those of you that are calling people, cold calling, okay? Basically, the seventh step will help you warm them up and will help you get into conversation with them without overthinking it too much. So the first step is greetings, as in G for greetings. Hello, is John available? Right? It's either yes or no. If it's no, then all right, did I call the right number? Obviously we're not going to go to the second step yet. Did I call the right? You want to make sure you're talking to the right person. Is there a right time to call back? All those kind of things, natural conversation before you move on to second step. But at the very core of it is a yes and no question. Hello, is John available? Hello, may I speak to John? However way you normally say that comes out very naturally. You're just looking to speak to John. You're not worried about the next six steps. You want to make sure you get a yes on that first. If you don't get a yes, you want to find out what time to call back. If it's the right number, did I call the right number? You want to make sure of that before you go past first step. All right. So let's go to step 2 of the system. All right. Ownership. Okay, so once they say yes on the first step, you want to make sure you identify ownership of the particular property you're calling about. So it basically says, I am calling about 123 Main Street. Is that yours? Okay, you want to make sure that you're talking to the actual person that owns the property. How many times would you call a John Smith and their name came up in your skip trace as you were looking for the numbers? And this John Smith, as a matter of fact, does not live in New Jersey. They live in Delaware, New Hampshire, somewhere, and this John Smith has nothing to do with this property. Basically, you want to identify the ownership of the property. You want to make sure that you're talking to the person that owned the particular property. So, yes, hi, I'm calling about the property at 123 Main Street. Is that yours? That's the second step. If you don't get a yes here, there's no point moving on forward. If you don't get a yes, if you get a no, 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 you called the wrong number. If you want to dig in a little deeper, you can go further. You say, okay, I'm an investor. Do you have any properties, real estate properties you may need to get rid of? Just ask. It doesn't hurt. Okay, just ask before you get off any call. If you get interrupted anywhere between step 1 through 7, you can always ask. I cannot tell you how many deals I've done simply by asking that simple question. Do you have any properties you need to get rid of, right? Because you never know someone that will know someone that knows someone. And if you find a deal that way, basically the marketing of that, the budget assigned to that particular deal is basically zero. It was just basically you doing other things, and then that deal came to the table. All right. And that 3, 5, 10,000, $20,000 makes all the difference in the game once you understand how to do that. All right, so now let's assume that we get a yes, this is their property. Then you move on to the third step, which is sell or keep. You want to know if they're open to selling or not. See, honestly, it doesn't really matter what type of list you're calling right now. You've made sure you've come up with the right list, right? It really doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? You just want to make sure that it's the right list. All right. um let's see here. So once you make sure you have the right list, then it doesn't matter. You want to now make sure on step 3 if they're open to selling. All right, if they're open to selling, you want to make sure. That's all. So sell or keep. Would you like a cash offer on that property? Would you like a cash offer on that property? You've identified that it's their property. So how did they get here? You say, hello, is John available? Yes, yes, this is John. Hey, John, I'm calling about 123 Main Street in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Is that yours? Yes, that's my house. I was wondering if you would appreciate a cash offer on that property at this time. Just say that the way you would normally say that and just shut up and keep quiet, right? So they have like 7 different possible answers here. I have another video on this same channel that I recorded about the 7 possible answers. From yes, no, maybe. How did you get my number? Um, there are all type of answers. Don't call me ever again that they can give at this stage. Basically, you're looking for a yes. A few answers, yes, no, or maybe can be turned to a yes. They may ask if the offer is right. Like that's another answer they can give. You say, well, if the offer was right, can we talk about it real quick? You have a minute, right? Then we go on to step 4, which is step 4 of the system, right? But we just want to make sure they're open to the idea of even selling at all before we go past the stage. If they go, if the offer is right, it depends on how I feel. For the most part, because I have so much data that I'm calling and I don't have time to be, remember, we don't want to spend 100 minutes with one person. We want to just go through the motivation and make sure that they're actually truly motivated, right? If they say, if the offer is right, I'm like, oh, okay, I can appreciate that. Do you have any other properties you need to get rid of? I would just throw that at them to see, to take it away. It's called takeaway. Okay. In sales, it's called takeaway. Basically, I'm taking away the offer indirectly without disrespecting them, without, being aggressive. I say, oh, if they say, well, if the offer is right, I say, oh, okay, do you have any other properties you need to get rid of? So basically, I'll tell you right now, if it's not a straight yes, just ask them that question. Just say, oh, I can appreciate that. Do you have any other properties you need to get rid of? For the most part, you're gonna get a no, but sometimes you get a yes. Then you have a bonus conversation to have on a property that you're not even calling about at all. I cannot tell you how many deals I've closed from that. Okay. All right. So let's move on to step 4 of the system. Let's get on to step 4 of the system. So the step 4 of the system actually starts a system that I got from some other gurus, but it works. It's called the 4 pillars of motivation. All right. I got it. I got this one from Wholesale Inc. If you know them, so kudos to them. All right. So it's called 4 pillars of motivation. So once you greet them, step 1, step 2, make sure they own the property, right? Step 3, make sure they actually are open to selling. And then step 4 starts the 4 pillars that makes, so the first 3 steps plus the 4 pillars makes the 7-step system. Okay, so step 4, once they are open and they say yes, yeah, I mean, yeah, I would like to get rid of this property. Okay, do you have a minute? All right, so that's an in-between question. It's not part of the system. It's an in-between. You have a minute, and I have a few pieces of information I'd like from you. And then once they say yes to that, you just say, what's the condition? Does it need repairs? And how much repairs do you think it needs? Basically, that's the 4th step of the system. Okay, you're looking to know what the condition the property is in. You're going to use this as ammunition for negotiation at some point. You may have to use it. Okay, but you need to know what the condition of the property is, right? If it needs repair, chances are they don't want to do all the repair and put it back on the market. They just want to sell assets, but it's also a good negotiation point for you. So they would throw something like, oh, well, I have a brand new roof, but the roof is 7 years old, but it may need some changes right now. What else needs some work? The kitchen can use a brand new kitchen. The bathroom it's been a minute. It needs some repairs. There's some missing tiles all over the place. It needs some work. And just take some notes. Just take some notes. This is the same stage. You may want to find out how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what's the condition of the property is the step here. Basically, you just want to know if it needs significant amount of work, medium amount of work, or no work necessary. You just want to know. Okay, take some notes. All right. All right. So now, once you find out what that is, then you want to go on to step 5. which is basically timeline. And this a simple question that says, how soon do you need to sell? If you notice here, I did not say how soon do you want to sell. There's a difference between somebody who want to sell and somebody who needs to sell. One is more motivated than the other. All right. I understand some people want to sell and they call it motivation. I get it. But that's not motivation in our world. We need somebody that absolutely needs to get rid of a property. All right. So that's why you use the language, how soon do you need to sell? Because you're subconsciously auto suggesting the idea of needing to sell in their brain. So even if they weren't really thinking they were there already, they may get pushed in their mind to that point where, you know what? Actually, I need to get rid of this just by simply saying it. Okay. So if you don't know what I just said, if you read the Bible, the Success Bible, which is Think and Grow Rich, you learn auto suggestion from that book. There's a little ways that you can suggest ideas into people's mind that will get them saying yes to you. So basically, you want to auto suggest the idea into their mind by simply saying, how soon do you need to sell? Uh, Now, yes, yesterday. I mean, I would like to be done with this in 2 weeks. You need things like that. If they're not, just want to collect information and write that down in your notes. Type it into your notes, because once you know what that is, you will be able to use it or not for negotiations later. If they say, no, I don't have to sell, but if I sell at the right price, I'll okay, just take it down in your notes. Now you know that you cannot use time to negotiate in the future. Maybe you'll be able to use repairs to negotiate. But again, that's the second pillar that you will need in negotiations. The second pillar that measures how motivated they are. It's called the 4 pillars of motivation. All right. So now let's get to step 6. I call it motivation. This is the actual core motivation question here. And you need to ask this question. And this question, you may spend some time on this question. And it simply says, why do you need to sell? Okay, you need to know why. Why do they need to sell? They may be moving. They may be moving out to Florida. They may be retiring. They may feel like they can't afford to maintain it any longer. Well, they may feel like the mortgage is too much for them to handle. That's the point where you need to collect this information and write it down. Why do you need to sell? Again, it's the second time we're also suggesting the idea that they need to sell, not want to sell, by not being aggressive, but simply suggesting it in the way you frame your question. The heart of questions is something that I learned from Jeffrey Combs a long time ago, and knowing how to ask the right questions will lead you to money all day long. So it's very important to learn the heart and the science in that question. How soon do you need to sell? This timeline is motivation. And then the next line is, why do you need to sell? Well, I'm retiring. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to deal with the tenants any longer. Take some notes. And then if they say anything interesting, don't jump to the next step right away. Take whatever they said that's interesting. You have a story around it. You can tell that story. You can say things that will tell a short story about anything they say. The more you're able to do that, the more they will fall in love with the idea of possibly working with you, or even keeping that experience at the back of their mind, and not necessarily working with you right now, but keeping you in mind and then calling you later, because people remember experience. They may not remember your name, but they remember the experience that they had in engaging with you. And if you can give them a pleasant experience while on the phone with them, even if the timing is not right, you will be surprised if you keep building this and you're calling people from time to time. Some people will call you back 3 months later, a whole year later, 2 years later, 2 months later, 2 weeks later, and they say, you know what? I need to get rid of the property. What was the offer you gave again? And then you reassess again, because your offer 1 year from now may be different, because the value may be different, right? But they called you now, so you're even in a better position because they called you. But again, you're always building rapport as you're getting through this. So if in between any of the 7 steps they said something that's interesting, don't hesitate to stop and have some fun and just tell a story, and then just have fun with the conversation, but with respect to respecting your time. Don't waste too much time on that. Okay. But basically, remember that you're just digging deeper. This person is basically momentarily expressing that they may be a good, valuable lead for you. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with spending time with people that are responding to you. I'm just saying, if somebody is saying no and they're saying no in any of this, right? Don't waste your time on that. If that make any sense to you, please make sure you give me a thumbs up before you leave. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. The last but not the least of the steps, okay, is called price. Okay, and this is a simple question that I also stole from one of the webinars somewhere. I don't remember, but if you remember, you can post it in the comment box below to make sure we give credit. Okay, but it's a fantastic question to use to ask the price. You'll find it's well the seventh step is finding out what the price is, and the way you ask matters because a lot of time, depending on what kind of list you're calling, they may say, I don't have a price in mind. I mean, what's your offer? They may be defensive and combative like that. If somebody is combative like that, let them talk. Let them get that energy out. They have energy, let them get it out there. Don't force yourself into a conversation with them. Don't interrupt them when they're talking. If they're talking, chances are they really need you. But you gotta let them talk. Okay. So the way I ask the question these days, again, which I stole from someone else, is would you mind sharing the ballpark price you would need for the property? Okay, sharing because you're not force handling them. Okay, you're not forcing them to give you that information. You're basically asking for them to share, because if you want to catch a monkey, you got to act like a monkey. No disrespect to a monkey, just as a proverb from where I'm from, right? Basically, you want to fish, you got to give them a bait. You got to fish. You can't hunt with a gun. You have to fish. You have to give them a little bit of value, and that will attract them to you. So when you're asking them to share, it's a form of giving value by saying, hey, would you mind sharing a ballpark price that you would need for the property? Again, we're using the word need, okay? Because we want them to feel like they're desperate to sell, or to remember that they're desperate to sell, even if they were trying to pretend. The brain will have no choice but to go towards the truth, okay? All right, so that's just the way that works. Okay, so let's go over that real quickly. Number one, greetings. Hello is blah 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 available. Number two, ownership. You want to identify the ownership, they actually own the property. Number three, you want to see if they're open to selling. Okay, and basically the way you do that is, would you like a cash offer on that property? Say yes or no. If it's no, if it's maybe, if how did you get my number? Well, I got your number because I'm interested in the property. Or would you like a cash offer on the property? If it's a no, we say, oh, okay, I can respect that. Do you have any other properties you need to get rid of? Again, you're also suggesting that they need to get rid of something, right? Even if they were on the fence. Now, if they were not on the fence, you can't do anything about that. You basically have to let them go as fast as they want to, okay? And then basically get through these 7 steps and you're good. So, but remember what I said is that anywhere between step 1, step 2, step 3, if they say any interesting information, take advantage of that to build rapport with them, okay? Because if they know, like, and trust you, they will do business with you. It's called the KLT factor. We discussed that heavily in this book, Smart Real Estate Wholesaling, okay, .com. Just go to smartrealestatewholesaling.com. All right, so that's the 7 step pre-qualification system right there. If you will find it under the description of this video, I've already outlined them there. If you need to come back and copy it from there, it's in the description of this particular session. All right, hopefully that was useful for you. If it is, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, because it helps us spread the word more. Other people that will find this useful will find it. There's a higher chance they'll find it if you give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please, I want to encourage you to ask questions in the box below, because it all also helps us spread the word. Use the share button to share this video with anybody. More importantly, make sure you click subscribe. You subscribe to the channel, click the bell, the notification bell, to make sure you're notified when I come online. I try to come online at 2 p.m., but today I was a little bit late. But it still worked out well. It's 2:58 right now, so I'm live, and I try to share this information evergreen, so it doesn't matter if you're watching this 10 years later. It still works like gangbuster, okay? And if there's anything, again, stay subscribed so that you can get more current information as we bring them to you. On this channel, there's more than 600 videos that will help you. So I'm not stopping. You need access to every information I put on here. So make sure you subscribe, okay? And click the bell to make sure you're notified when we come live or when we upload new videos. If you have any ideas in your mind, something you want me to cover about the business of real estate investing, wholesaling, agencies, anything like that, about the business of real estate, about fix and flip, anything like that, let me know. Keep in mind, we're still working on Real Estate Money Secrets, the book, and it'll be out soon. So keep in mind, if you want to be notified, then obviously subscribe. Thank you so much. Hopefully, you've been enlightened and educated, and I'll see you on the next one. And peace.